Hey, what are you? Hey, today we're going to work on this end table here. Looks like some peanut butter got stuck on there and a dog chewed a whole big section of it up. So let me show you how we use this 2-part epoxy, and we're going to put that wood putty in there and we'll level it off with a razor blade and sand it up. We'll even apply some color on it. You guys could use touch-up markers if you want, but we'll get right to it. Show you how we do it. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is get this stuff cleaned up, all right? So you get your little wax wash is what we use here. It's a solvent-based cleaner, and it really gets the oils and grimes off of everything. And that's really what you want to do, is get everything that's not going to stick, all right? So there you go. Now I like to take a razor blade and even run it straight across, make sure there's no real high spots, all right? You can use just regular sandpaper, which I'm gonna go over here in just a second, okay? So you run her down like that, and then with a light 220, sorry about the camera juggle, okay? We wanna get this level. Level is our friend here, okay? And that's pretty close. Now this is a 320 grit paper, and this is a rubber sanding block, okay? If you ever used one of these before, these work out real well, okay? And this really keeps you level, see? Now you can eyeball this and you can do it for your own perfection, but this is a repair for a resort. And we're going for perfection here, the best we can. It's going to go back into service here real shortly. If you have an air compressor, blow all your excess dust out. Okay, once you get that stuff sanded down here nice and smooth, you really want to roughen this up a little bit. So get yourself your razor blade or what have you, and carve down into some of these little recesses, and just get it to where that putty has a good place to stick. And let your solvents dry up a little bit. Once you've applied them to clean, don't rush it. Let that wood dry, and then just make sure that you're still level. You're just level is all you're really looking for. You don't want this level. That's what the putty's for. You guys slice these things off. Don't tear them off. See how we can slice it? Because that's going to get contaminated and it's going to turn hard shortly. I normally like to use my gloves when I mix this up so the putty doesn't transfer all its solvents into your skin. And it just dries the putty out. It's probably okay for you in a sense. But for the most part, I use my glove hand to stir it up. Mostly. So now what you want to do is you really want to work this putty into that wood fibers. So don't start too thick. Don't take your putty while it's like this and start cramming it in there. It doesn't really have enough force. It's like pushing on a pillow, right? So start with it very thin and work it into that grain like this, okay? Get it to lay in there. You got 10 minutes or so. If your putty is normal, you know, that you get at the store, it's probably like a 20-minute to where it starts to firm up. This kind of putty is really probably 5 minutes or so, which to me is a long time. And sometimes it takes 2 coats, even though they say it's 1. And even if you put it on real heavy, you'll find, and then you take all that time to sand it all down, you still found some low spot that you didn't get. So this is how we do it in the profession, so we don't waste our time. And you're not sanding this whole unit like crazy. All right. Now we've got that in there. You take your razor blade and you cut it. You see, you find your zone, like this damage ended this direction. So I want to cut into that direction when I can toward the outside. And same with on the inside. I just follow the line down and it reveals all that I would have had to cut off, you see. Now I can utilize it and I smooth it out just enough. You don't want to overwork this stuff, okay? This isn't like it's not Bondo, but you see how thin that really is? You guys are leaving too much to cut and sand back down. Trust that you're going to come back and do it again, just another thin coat like this in 15 minutes or whatever. and you'll save yourself a lot of sanding in prep time. Now what I like to do is add a little bit of water to the putty on this surface. You see, I'm even cleaning it off down here. I can feel it with my hands that it didn't need that much. Okay. So there you go. I mean, some of you could leave that just like it is and be just fine. I don't mean some you in a bad way. Hold on. Okay. So this stuff is water soluble. So while it's in this state, so take your hands and with a damp finger, right? And this is your pro tip here. And most of them act the same way. As you can smooth that off and get it down as low as you want. Yeah, I don't think this is already set. See how I can use the side of the razor blade as like a scraper? And it sands it so nicely. We do this all the time. Okay, now I don't have to sand that when I go hit my next little light coat here. Hey, look at that. Beautiful. And look, this stuff is already firming up. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start mixing up my second coat here while this is firing off. Yours may take longer, and it doesn't matter. Okay, this putty's now is probably about 90% dry. It's not even fully dried yet, right? And I'm going to go ahead and lightly rub on it like this, and lightly. I'm not pushing hard, right? These are just light rubs, and it gives me my defined line. And now I've already mixed this putty up. And again, this is because we're professionals. And we gotta get it done. So we don't have to let it sit and dry 100% because it's not going to shrink anymore. And this will really even adhere to it, the other repairs, the other Bondo, better, because it is still slightly tacky, right? And the chemical bond will bond better. So watch this go. And it won't lift off now. When I'm going to do this final wipe off, here's where it really comes in handy. Careful that you don't cut yourself. I think I almost did there. All right? See how this works now? Everything takes a lot better. There's less of that pulling away. Okay. Now, smooth it out. I know. Wet much? When he said, "Did you just lick that putty?" I don't think so. Even though I know I did. Anyway, there you go, guys. Look at that. Isn't that better? See? Now that's 90% off. Okay. Now I'll do the rest with sandpaper. We'll level that up. Smooth that all out after that fully dries. And then we'll start coloring it. Watch how this goes. All right, now we're going to take this putty. It's been set up now. I let it dry on there a good, 45 minutes now. And now we're going to use 220 sandpaper with our likely little cork block. You know what's a nice thing to do, just to protect yourself, is to take a little piece of tape and guard where you don't want it to go. You know, it never hurts. And then you can follow up with a shield tape if you'd like. So like something like so. And then just kind of crease the corners up a little. So that way when you spray, if you do any touch-ups, the overspray bounces loose. But, okay, so anyway, back to it. Hey, there's your pro tip, right? So, anyhow, now we're using our rubber block. You can use a cork block if you want. And I'm being pretty aggressive here because I'm going to be replacing this color. And that's what we're going to be doing next. We're going to be replacing it with the pad first. Here's our lacquer pad. And I'll show you how we do that. We blend it in with the Blend-All colors here. They're powder stains. And then we'll go over the top of that and add the little grain lines because it's not going to be done all in one swoop. Okay? So you know, you can stop at any point. You can do your touch-up markers at this edge. You know, do a little light fade in there. I'm going to do a few videos on them, on some nice ways to utilize them, because they're good for their place. But there's places that you don't really want to use them. And I'll tell you why and tell you how to fix those in another program. But anyhow, I know everything has its place, but this is how we're doing it today. You know, there's a lot of ways to do things. This doesn't mean your way or somebody else's way was wrong. This is just a way. I like to say that a lot, because I don't do it the same way every time. You guys would be like, hey, that ain't how you did it last week. And you would be right. I bet you I couldn't agree with you more. I want to follow this profile right here perfectly. And that's why we use this block. All right, so there you go. That's good. Okay, so, and I can leave that even at a 220 grit. Being the way we're going to put the stain on. So here's how we do that. All right, I would say wear gloves, but I don't a lot of times. My dermatologist would probably say, please do. Dang, I don't like this tape. You know, that masking tape, it has different grits. I don't mind this one. I don't need that. That yellow tape, it bonds too strongly. I didn't want it to bite like that. Okay, plenty of tape. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to apply these powders. Now, you guys may not have to do this. Some of you may. So you can either hit this right now with your touch-up markers, right? I already don't have any pulled out right now. But they would work okay. But you really need to seal those in and seal them on. But again, we'll do a whole other video on that another time. So this is how we do it today. You wetting up your rag here. Yeah, see how I wish I had. And then you rub the powders into your rag, and don't contaminate your lacquers. When you do it like this, just give it a little wetness, right? Pad that in there. It's like you're French polishing, but you're doing it on a minor scale, and now you're mixing color in with it. Okay, so here's your pro tips, right? Now watch how much comes on at a time. You see how it's going on like that, right? Now I'm trying to match the background color. I'm not trying to get that darkest tone. We're going to do that with these brushes here in just a second. But now I'm going to go a little more intense, and you can go like this, but don't splash it back in. All right. Now each time I put a pass over this, it's actually applying another layer of stain. All right. So I can adjust it. I can add a little more to the top. And that's how we play the game, right? So, and you take your time with it, right? Lower it in. It's light touches, taking off like an airplane, landing like this. Okay, see how that can blend right in? And if you tap it like that, it gives it a little texture. This already has that little bit of a textured feel to it. So you got to match what they got. And you guys that do your furniture flippings and stuff like that, this is a good little process for you. And we'll go into more detail on how to French polish and apply this on other videos. So you guys like this kind of stuff. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take, this is a Lac Over 50. It's from Mohawk. I think they changed their name just lately. And dang, I don't want to shout out the wrong name. So for right now, we're not. But I'd like to have them as an affiliate someday. They're a really good company. If they bought Mohawk, I'm sure they're very good. Now see how we got these dark edges? Now I've mixed this stain up in this powder into the lacquer itself, and I'm going to apply it to those deepest recesses and then just wipe it off. Okay? And you'll see it leaves a little trace, but that's okay. We have those everywhere. And we're going to go over this whole table and touch it up. But for demonstration purposes, we're just doing this for you. Okay? Now, look, I can put that right into my own pad, so if I do need it, right? And now, again, each time I rub it over this thing, that's about dark enough with that tone. Let me take a look here, see where we're at. Okay? Right? I'm going to clean all that up in a minute, but now I'm going to go with a little darker tone And this is a tinting glass, this thing here. Normally I would put a little bit on each side, but right now I know what I'm doing here. All right, now see, this has a little bit of a reddish tinge to it. And now I'm gonna mud it up back with the same color, but it's gonna change its intensity. And now we darken it off like this. And I'm just gonna put some of the slightest marks in here to give it that realism. Let it blend in with the others. And then nobody's the wiser. And as my dog would be happy to say, did you fix it? if you saw the beginning. She's my dog. Okay, so anyway, we don't want to overboard it at this point. You can see where we're going with it. This little mark right here. Who in the world found that? Now see how this is just not intense enough? On the side of your tinting glass, you have different intensities where it's thin here, it's thicker here. And as that dries, it's allowing now the next coat to be applied back over it. And we're just blending that in. And I'm gonna sand these and give it a light coat of lacquer here to completely blend that in. Show you how we do that. You guys stick around, huh? Right, this you can make cash. Can you imagine you picked up a table at the flea market or your local, thrift store or, marketplace these days is really fun. So you can get some good things that have minor damages. Do light little touch-ups. Right? Now I'm doing this to add that same light texture that the other one had. Okay? That's what all this is about. I don't know who. Oh, I like to draw on. I don't like to do it, but I draw on myself quite a bit. There we go. Okay, let's let that go. We'll let that dry, and then we'll top coat it and show you how we hit that on there. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been fun. Huh? Hope you learned something. Like and subscribe if you like this kind of stuff. We'll keep it going here. We'll get some of these rattle cans. All right, so now if you're looking at your project and you were like, well, I like it, but I messed up. I went too far. I went too dark. And so before you actually seal it in, what you have an option to do is use the same solvent that you're using with your finish. Okay, and in this case, this is a lacquer solvent. It's like lacquer thinner. But watch how we would use this. And I'm just going to point this out because I know this could go better. But anyway, you do it with a light pad. You don't want to have to flood it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lighten this off a little bit. All right? And normally you can do it two ways. You could sand it, but this is just using the same thinner. You can see it's pulling the color off of it. And we've let this set up. So we don't have to remove it all, or you can. And it will leave your other finish behind. And you can start over in a sense. And what I thought was going on with this particular one is it got a little dark a little fast. And I'm gonna blend in a little color all the way down the line. So if anything, I want it on the lighter side. So anyway, now we can start right over right away. There's no real wait time. It's the same material. And we start again. So anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. This is next. Here's how you do it. We can start talking real fast if you want to. Put it in high speed. So anyway, the refresher course. So now I'm going to start and just apply a light coat. And I'm going to actually move this into a new zone just so I can hopefully keep it on the lighter side. And then I'll do, this is a little maple. Okay, you see how bright maple is? Okay? I'm not using it for the color because I'm blending these colors in now. But it gives me a brighter background. Okay? And again, I just want to hide our little fill zones. And we want to hide them at the end after we put the top coat. Again, this is our back color, our back fill colors. See? That already blended in better, and we haven't even done the dark zone yet. Okay. So don't worry about messing up. There's no messes, right? People don't know. They'll never know, as they say, right? Who'll know? How will they know? They won't know. Okay. So we'll let that coat dry up a little bit. Keep it on the thin side. These are thin. And then now we'll add in the little darker tones, and I'll pull that all the way down the line there. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been fun. Okay. Now we want to go sparingly, because last time we let it get away with this. And yeah, this is dry already. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Look at nothing. Ain't coming off. That's how fast it's working. Okay. Did you notice that piece of paint that was on there? I knew the solvent in this would eat it off of there. So I knew it was going to happen. I didn't pre-sand it. I didn't have to do anything. I did pre-wash it because I want these to bond well. But now I see how I can just blend that whole piece in, that whole section in right there. And nobody's the wiser. So there you go, folks. Nothing to it when you know how to do it, right? And I'm going to teach you how to do it. Now, what we would do, we can leave it just as it is, and we can adjust the sheen with a scratch pad or a scuff pad, something like this here, right? After this dries, let's say it's dry, it's kind of dry. We want to dull it off to blend into the sheen of it all. You can just lightly go over it with the slightest touch and add little scratches to it. We're going to actually shoot onto it. This is a dead flat lacquer, and I'm going to finish masking this off here, and we'll just mist that on. So stick around and I'll show you how we do the top coat. Thanks for watching. Okay, we've let that edge dry up a little bit. We've put it all back in. Now we're going to do a light top coat. I took the liberty to masking that up for us. And now you just take your spray, and you're not going to over wet this coat, okay? And it's just a light, enough till it's wet, because you want it to blend. You want these pigments to blend in, and I know some people think that what I do when I call light is heavy. It's not. So you guys need to go a little heavier. I call it a light coat. But anyhow, you let that one dry, and we're going to do it one more time, and then we'll come right back and I'll peel that off and we'll do a great reveal. Hey, you guys may like to see this, huh? You want to see that one come about? We're going to be doing this one up next. Got a lot of extra repairs we're doing up, and we're going to touch the whole thing up and probably even give it a respray. So stick around. We're not going to strip it. You may like this. Thanks for watching. Let's keep this going, huh? It's fun. Thanks again. If you like this stuff, like and subscribe. Hit the button. Appreciate it. We'll see you around on another one. Okay, we've let this set up and dry now, and just gave it enough time to really just sit. Now this is a gray scratch pad, as we like to call them. They're more like a 400 grit. Very light. It's just really to even it up a little bit. And then now take your finish again, and this is what it looks like when you're spraying it. This is how my pattern is, right? So it's not real wide. Okay, it's nothing like that. And we're going to start on the top side like this. All right, now we're going to give it a little heavier coat. Okay, nice and wet. And we'll let that set up, and then we'll pull it off for its great reveal. So thanks for watching. Yeah, I wanted you to see how that really looks like a flood coat. You know, it's really wet. So that's really where you want your final coats to be. And I see it's not going to dry that thick, but that's how it's applied. So I hope that helps. All right. Let's see how we did. Isn't that pretty, huh? Look at that. They're never going to know. So anyway, guys. Well, there you go. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. If you like that, you might like the piece getting restored behind me over here. We're going to touch it up and give this a whole nother restoration. Or another, stick around. We'll put something up here in the corner. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon.